Well, Gatineau, it is time for our first final here at the 2025 Canada Cup of Diving. Please welcome our athletes competing in this event. Please welcome Team Republic of Korea. Please welcome Team Canada. Please welcome Team Australia. That was, of course, Team Japan. And now, please welcome Team Australia. And please welcome team number 5, Team United States of America. And these are your athletes competing in the mixed team events.
Here in Gatineau, Quebec. Alex Despatie here with Olympic bronze medalist from the Paris Olympic Games, Rylan Wiens. Very happy to have you by my side, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's good to be back on the mic.
I know, you love the mic. I love having you on the mic. And we got you in for a treat for this first event of this Canada Cup because it's going to be the mixed team event. And as you just saw in the presentation, well, it's gonna get wild. I have never competed in one of those, neither has Rylan, but we can see that the spirits are high, the divers are happy, and that's the tone for that type of competition.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the divers for Canada before, and they were all smiles down on the pool deck. They were trying to choreograph their dance going out, and you know, it's a competition still, so they want to do well, but it's a little bit lighter of a competition to start the whole event off with.
Oh yes, absolutely. So, like I said, we're taking you for a ride. There's going to be men, there's going to be women, there's going to be 3-meter diving, there's going to be 10-meter diving, and then some mixed synchronized on both of those as well. So if you're still following, we're about to get to it real shortly as the divers are getting ready. You see, it was all fun and games in the presentation, but now the faces are starting to change as the competition gets closer.
Yeah. Even though it's just a fun event, everyone get nervous. You know, you're gonna be on the board, you're gonna be shaking. You want to do your best dives in front of the crowd.
Team USA here to cheer on their teammates. And you know, we were just talking about this before the broadcast. We have to take these events seriously because we don't know in the future if it's going to become an Olympic event. I think a lot of sports are heading towards what is going to look a lot like a show. This is it right now. But you can't laugh too much because it is a competition, and it might be a very serious competition along the line for a lot of those athletes that have young careers and possible multiple Olympic Games. You know, we might see it in 2032.
Yeah, and for some of the countries, they bring their athletes here in the team event to gain some experience at an international competition before they start competing in the individual and the synchro events, so they can kind of get a feel for what it's like to be competing against the best in the world.
We just saw just a few seconds ago Margot Earlham getting warmed up because the women's 3-meter individual dive is what is going to begin this competition. The men also have to get ready. I mean, I kind of wish I would have lived this type of competition myself, because you're cheering on your teammates because it, you know, obviously affects the end result, but you also have to focus on yourself. And then most possibly and most probably a synchronized mixed dive happening as well somewhere in the event. So it's going to be you're going to be seeing one of your good friends,
yep.
Nathan Zombo-Murray, a little later on.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, you guys are back in action after these Paris Games last year. You know, it took some time, which is absolutely well deserved.
Yep, both of us took till January. We took nearly 6 months off to kind of refocus and decide our priorities. And this is our first major competition back, so it's glad to have him back. Glad to be competing with him again.
Oh yes, I've been watching you guys. You're looking good.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
You know, because sometimes you have to say it, after a long break, you know, you got to get your bearings and your wheels going again. It's not that simple. It's not that easy. It takes time. So for you guys to be back, like most Olympians on that team last year, it's good to see. From where I'm sitting, anyways. So, as I mentioned, round 1, women's 3-meter. Round 2, men's 3-meter. Round 3 will be mixed 3-meter dives, and then we do it all over again on 10 meters, and that is how the event will go down.
And one of the interesting things about the mixed team event, if you're familiar with diving, you'll know there's 6 different directions the divers can possibly do, and that's why you see the 6 rounds of dives. Every team has to fill the front spinning dive, the back spinning dive, the reverse, the inward, the twist, and as well as the handstand.
Oh boy, we're in for a good spectacle, so it's coming up very, very shortly. All right, the lights are on. The whistle has been blown, and here we go with the mixed team event here at the 2025 Canada Cup of Diving. Korea kicks it off on the women's 3-meter. Na-Yoon Kim, her first dive will be a back 2.5 somersault pike. Okay. Probably didn't waste enough energy, you know, in that parade to get in that march on. Maybe lots of adrenaline here.
Yeah, you can see the feet flopping over just ever so slightly at the end there, bringing that splash up. You know, you don't want to see that quite, but I mean, it's a solid dive to start with.
Well, I mean, I always chose the back 2.5 because it takes the, you know, the jitters off, and I don't have to do a hurdle, so.
Can't comment on that. I don't do springboard very often.
Oh wait, okay. You see, I'm learning as we go. So now, on the men's 3-meter side, individually, in this mixed team event, here's Seong-Go Woo, forward 2.5, 2-twist pike. Oh, good one. Wow. Solid.
It's gonna get some nice scores from the judges.
Okay, so let me rephrase. We're gonna see the 3-meter dives individually, one from the man, one from the woman, one after the other, and then we'll go on to the mixed synchro. So that was a good start for Team Korea. On to Team Canada now, because the next 2 divers will be our Canadians.
Yeah, this competition is a little bit to wrap your head around as far as format goes.
Well, and also, let's be clear, it has some differences from one competition to another, so bear with us here as we're going along here. Here comes Team Canada now. First diver for Canada, Margot Earlham. And she begins with a reverse 2.5 somersault pike. She's also full of energy.
Man, these girls are going over. So much energy coming to this event.
Great takeoff, love the pike position. No need to pull back so much at the end there, so it goes by the vertical a little bit. She'll be penalized for that a little bit.
She may have overcompensated from the individual preliminary this morning where she did go slightly under-rotated, so you can see she's smiling after that one.
That does stay in your head even though it happened this morning, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Carson Paul now. Well, he's got a tall order to begin with as well. Forward, 4.5 somersault tuck.
This is the biggest dive in the competition. Oh, baby.
Well, I was looking at the training before, and he also maybe slightly overcompensated because he didn't want to be short from the vertical on that one. Great takeoff there. Such a hard dive to do.
Yeah, and that hurdle, like you said, on the heart of the dive, you want to go higher, but as you go higher, you risk falling off the board, and you don't want to fall off the board if nothing else.
So good start for Team Canada. Working together.
And you'll see them come together for a synchro dive later.
All right, here comes Hana Kondo of Japan. Reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. Pike, sorry about that. I know you're looking at me here. All right, good start. And I was thinking, those dives, like they're specifically chosen, we're gonna see high degrees of difficulty all through this event. No easy dives coming up here. So to start with these reverse 2.5 pikes and these front 4.5s like we saw in this team event, you know, already that's putting divers out of their comfort zone, right?
Absolutely. And one thing you're gonna notice is they have to pick out their best dive for the individual athlete as well. But you need to weigh that with what everyone else is doing. You need to figure out what's maybe not your best dive, but the best dive for the team at the moment. So.
And another high degree of difficulty, the biggest one of the event, forward 4.5 somersault tuck.
Oh! Well, he saved it.
Well, to do a front 4.5 like that when you're badly positioned on the board, look at this, completely in the corner, getting that height though. But so much goes on in your head, so you kind of overreact, keep the head in, the body keeps rotating. Missed opportunity, but in the circumstances, like you said, that's a save.
And it's great to see all the coaches smiling, all the athletes smiling, even though maybe it wasn't what he wanted exactly. He's happy to be here, happy to be having some fun.
Team Australia now coming up. Natalie Phan. Her first dive, forward 3.5 somersault pike. Oh,
wow.
Team Australia showing up. That is a beautiful start for Natalie.
After watching that, you would have never guessed they had jet lag a couple days ago.
Oh, you're right. Strong hurdle, beautiful pike position, straight into the water.
That was a beautiful front 3.5 pike.
And the dynamic too, look at this, team supporting. Now, up next, Hudson Skinner. He's got a forward 2.5 somersault with 2 twists, pike position. I mean, he can't help but be pumped up by this, right?
Yeah, you gotta build off your teammates. You gotta use that energy they're giving you and try to use that in the best way you can for your dive.
Nice, okay. Well, Team Australia so far is here for business. Great takeoff, tight twisting position, just lines up beautifully for a nice ripped clean entry.
You can see in the twist his legs stay there the entire time, which is one thing that divers often struggle with, losing your legs while you're twisting. Speak for myself.
Okay, so take note, because you got some diving to do this weekend as well, right? Keep it in your mind. All right, so one more team to go in these first dives of this mixed team event, Team USA. First dive here, back 2.5 somersault in the tuck position. All right, oh, air brakes, right?
You can see how she maybe thought she was going hair long, was gonna go over rotating. So she, watch here,
Right
the save,
here. Yep.
the knees underneath the water.
That's it, you mentioned it, the work underwater, and then sometimes when you start doing that, the feet tend to lift off, you know, just to think that you're gonna break.
Bringing up that little bit of splash.
But all in all, a good start for Team USA. Here's Max Miller now, forward 3.5 somersault pike. Oh yeah, good control, good composure. We have the luxury to have the replay here. The judges only see the dive once, but we could see that Max Miller was leaning forward there, did not panic, go through the technique.
I do have to say, his diving is very aesthetically pleasing, and the judges love to see those legs and toes, the straight knees, and the rip entry coming through the water. So is that the end of the individual 3-meter dives?
That's it. And here are the results so far. After the men and the women's first round dive, Australia in control, United States in second. Not too far behind is Canada, but also not too far behind is the Republic of Korea. So we'll be right back in just a few moments with more of the mixed team event.
We are just under 30 seconds before we start our synchro round. Broadcast is ready for round number 3. The judges are ready for round number 3. Gato, are you ready for round number 3?
All right, we're back here in the mixed team event at the 2025 Canada Cup of Diving. And the third round means mixed synchro. So in first for this round, Team Korea. And they will be doing a reverse 2.5 somersault in the pike position. Oh, okay. But there was a lot going on there. I can't wait to see the replay. Two good individual dives. I can't stress enough here how demanding it is on springboard for a man and a woman to compete together.
Yeah, it is a whole nother challenge.
That's right.
They're doing the same dive, but you can see they're happy there after that one, so that's good to see.
And Min Yu Kang, who was a bit stuck on the board there, and he knows it. But overall, a good dive for Team Korea. All right, Team Canada, Margot Earlham, Carson Paul. They decided to do a back 2.5 somersault pike.
And they did just actually do this for the first time about half an hour ago. But let me tell you, it was pretty sweet. Let's see what they can produce here.
Oh, wow, synchronization was absolutely beautiful. I know that both of them probably would have wanted a little more out of the individual dives. But look at this. Beautiful height, nice and together, rotation happening just at the same time.
And the judges, a lot of the score is coming from that synchro component, so having that dialed in is the most important part in this event.
Good enough for 64.5 for the mixed synchro 3-meter for Team Canada. So their day's done.
Now they're just cheering.
They're cheering for their 10-meter partners coming up. Happy about that. Team Japan now coming up. They'll be doing a forward 2.5 somersault with 1 twist in the pike position.
And they chose to do it a little differently than we often see.
So oftentimes we'll see the pike going first and then the twist, but they decided to go vice versa, but that works. I'm really impressed with the synchronization of all of these teams so far. So good job on them.
It's going to be a close competition, we can already tell.
That's right. Well, yeah, guess what? Now they're all putting pressure on the 10-meter divers, right?
That's the best place to be. I love the pressure.
You know, we kept it close. Now it's your job to do. Team Australia had a really solid start. So in the mixed synchro here, they'll be doing a back 2.5 pike. Which I guess I can say is a pretty safe bet, you know, reducing the risk of not being so synchronized. A little too much here.
That just goes to show how challenging timing up it is, even on a back takeoff.
And for Hudson Skinner here, just did not need to pull back so hard. Timing is everything. And I can guarantee you, I mean, there hasn't been thousands of hours of training with them together. So just to see how well all of the teams are able to do this mixed synchro is quite impressive.
Absolutely amazing how quickly they can pull together like this.
Okay, Team USA. Their mixed synchro dive will be an inward 2.5 somersault tuck.
Well, this is opting for a little bit of an easier dive compared to what we've seen in this round so far, but I guess consistency is the most important thing.
1, 2, 3, go.
Nice. Good synchro, 2 beautiful individual dives. They're gonna get deducted, and I'm being real picky here, but a little bit of a deduction for sure because of the distance. We could see that Max Miller was just a little bit more behind from the board, but I think Team USA will be happy with that.
Big cheers coming from the other teammates there.
Okay. All right, so at this stage, we move on to the 10-meter platform. And here are the standings after 3 rounds of 3-meter diving. Australia still ahead, but look at this. Canada in second. Now in third is Republic of Korea, but just, you know, inches behind our Team USA. Everything can change in the next 3 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. They leave in tower to the end. This is where you can have big misses, you can have spectacular dives. It's exciting. And we are going to see a lot of handstands in the next 2 rounds because you aren't actually allowed to do a handstand on the springboard.
Yeah, you're right.
You got to get that last direction.
You got to get it out of the way. All right, so from Korea, Halim Kwan, she'll be doing an inward 2.5 somersault in the pike position. Nice. A little bit of a miss at the entry there. That bubble just didn't quite line up properly to get that beautiful clean entry. And also from the 10-meter platform, that's when you get the opportunity to really disappear.
Absolutely.
Just, you know, that height, that speed getting in. Want to take advantage of that every time.
And yeah, the divers are going to be looking to put their hands above their head and create almost a pocket where they can, the rest of their body can travel through to make absolutely not even a ripple in the water.
You're pretty good at that, I must say.
It is one of my specialties.
All right, Minyu Kang. We saw him on 3-meter before. Now he's up on 10-meter. And like you said, getting one of those handstands out of the way. Back arm stand double somersault with 1.5 twist. Be seeing a lot of that in this round. Hey, that clean entry. A little bit of a wiggle in the legs like you mentioned before when you're twisting. Those inner thigh muscles really got to stay tight.
What the judge is going to see at the very end is that rip entry though, and yeah, it was a pretty sweet one. Oh, that's quite the celebration right there.
Yeah, let's go. Well, you know what makes it fun about this mixed team event is like, you'll see a lot more focus in the individual events, even in the synchronized events, but this is a party, people are having fun. And here comes Eloise Bélanger for Team Canada. She also decides to do an inward 2.5 somersault pike. One of her strong dives.
Yeah, and I think definitely one of her best dives. I say rip this one all the time.
Oh, okay. Solid entry in the water.
worth the wait.
Worth the wait, definitely. I would have liked to see her jump upwards just a little bit more, but look at that pike position. Beautiful. Even if a few degrees short, she manages to disappear, right?
Yep, and that's that experience that she has that is showing really, even though you're not perfectly vertical, you can still get in the water very clean and make the best of the dive.
All right, Nathan Zombor-Murray, Team Canada, your boy.
Me and you, Matt, we got some history. Olympic medal together, that was a special moment.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, we're not going to see his signature front 4.5 in the team event. He's on the handstand.
Well, people will have to wait for Sunday to see that in the men's 10-meter final.
Absolutely.
For now, it's a back arm stand somersault, a double somersault with 1.5 twist. No wind up there, full control. Oh! Well, yeah, look at Team Canada there cheering on.
And that's why he's got an Olympic medal right there.
I don't have much to say about that. I'm going to let you go.
Honestly, that entry is what catches my eye, and it is beautiful. Maybe he could have gone a little bit higher off the tower, but you see him celebrating there. He knows it was a good one.
his individual contribution is over, and it's been a good one. So here we go. Team Canada. Like I said before, things can change so fast in an event like this, depending on who's on your team, what dives they chose to do, when they decide to do it.
And that's the fun part of this event, is it's never over till it's over.
Well, here's Karen Yamasaki from Japan. And she decides to do a back 3.5 somersault tuck, 3.3 degree of difficulty. So in the circumstances here, that could be a very rewardful dive. And yes, that is exactly what you do after Team Canada does well. Back 3.5 tuck. I was a little worried with the speed of rotation, but spatial awareness.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the most challenging dives to do well, because as you're spinning, you can't see the water, you're doing a blind entry. So you need to almost look at where you've been to know where you're going. But she knew exactly where she was on that one.
Oh, yes. Keeping things interesting here. Shuda Yamada now from Japan. So he'll be doing a back arm stand double somersault, this time with 2.5 twists. So that's a 3.6 degree of difficulty. So in these couple of dives for Japan, they're really going for the DD and the points that can come out of this.
And it certainly is a little bit harder to control, especially when you're coming around looking for the water.
Oh, that's exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, I do that dive, and it is hard to control in that bottom.
Well, because you got to create so much speed right here in the rotation. Then you got to hold on to that twist. But then comes the control part at the end, which is hard to accomplish. So
overall, a very nice looking dive, just a little bit over on the bottom, giving him those 6s on the scores.
That's okay.
I think they'll be so very happy, because that was a high degree of difficulty dive,
yes.
so it'll pay off.
All right, Team Australia coming up now. Millie Puckridge with the back arm stand, double somersault with 1.5 twist this time. I love that in the rules, all of the groups that you mentioned before, the forward, backward, reverse, inward, twisting dive, and arm stand have to be accomplished.
It really adds another aspect of
Yes.
challenge to the competition.
Nice. Good takeoff there, I found.
Very, very nice and high off the tower. That helps you with that control we talked about earlier on the bottom of the dive going through the water.
Oh, you can see in the replay, look at the end right here before entering the water. She their hands kind of slipped a little bit, so that doesn't help for the splash, but overall a good dive.
And now there's been some pressure put on this next dive.
Oh, yes, and it's a good one. Here comes Joanna Mercieka. He's been doing well in the individual event so far. You'll see him later on this weekend.
One thing I love watching about his diving is how powerful he is off the board. So watch his jump as he extends off.
Reverse 3.5 somersault tuck. Big dive here. Wow. Team of Australia stepping up. Jonah knows it. He feels it. And we get to see it again. You mentioned that jump. 2 flips almost above the tower. Look at this.
You cannot do that dive much better. 90.1 on that dive. Wow.
Yep. Everybody on the coaching staff is happy. No one has anything to say except for, we're here. We got this. Yeah, Team Australia looking good in this team event. All right. Well, the pressure's on now for Team USA. Next dive coming up for Sophie McAfee. Reverse 2.5 somersault in the tuck position. She had to work hard for this one.
I thought she was going to even shorter than she went, but she pulled that around very nicely.
And I'm really enjoying, we can feel it here on site, and I hope you guys feel it at home. There's like tension going up in this place. Teams are pushing one another. That's a dive that's going to help Team USA. A little short from vertical, but really work to go get that entry in the water.
And as the scores are getting higher, there's more energy building, as Alex was saying, and you can feel that tension rising. You can feel the judges feeling the anticipation for the next dive.
Andrew Bennett, back arm stand, double somersault, 1.5 twist. And it's a good point you're bringing up. Whatever we're feeling and getting excited about, well, the judges really are feeling it too.
Absolutely.
Show that control, 2 to 3 seconds. Oh,
such an easy dive to over-rotate on.
well, he had a lot of gas from the top there. That was actually a jump from his arms. Look at this, creating that speed. It doesn't forgive at the end if you keep your head in like that. The body is just never gonna stop.
So hard to control, but so impressive how strong he was off the tower on that one.
All right, so we've got one more round of mixed synchronized diving to go. Australia in control, Canada now in second, Republic of Korea in third. But like I said, things can move fast and quick here. So stay around for one more round of this mixed team event at the 2025 Canada Cup of Diving here in Gatineau.
Hey, I gotta tell you about my vacation in the Outaouais. I got to experience so many new things. I cycled through incredible landscapes. I paddled at sunrise, hiked in the wilderness. I discovered local flavors and artisans. The people are welcoming, genuine, and warm. This summer, it's your turn to discover the Outaouais.
See yourself up on the screens, give us away. You are being pushed out to our live streaming audience. As Deputy Ryan Reeves are doing the commentary up there for our cbcsports.ca stream.
Sixth and final round in this mixed team event here at the Canada Cup. And it is mixed synchro on the 10 meter. Here comes Team Korea. They will be doing a forward 3.5 somersault pike. Currently in third position with 1 to go. All right.
That synchro was actually quite on par.
I felt like they kind of lost each other a little bit after 2 flips right here.
Yeah.
But overall, well synchronized. Both divers also just a little bit short from vertical, so at least that doesn't catch the eye for the judges too much, right?
Definitely happy with that performance right there. You can tell.
Yes.
And something that's interesting is a lot of these countries are bringing a next generation of divers. After the Olympics, there's young athletes coming in, which is awesome to see.
Team Canada, Eloise Bélanger and Nathan Zombor-Murray. They decided with the back 2.5 with 1.5 twist, pike position. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't wanna jinx it, but the one in the warm-up was really good.
I have it on video, it was beautiful.
Let's see if they can do that again. Oh, yes! That is a beautiful final dive for Team Canada, individually and the synchronization as well. Look at this. Everything happening, mainly at the same time, lining up. Both divers sort of passing the vertical just a tiny little bit, which makes it even more synchronized, so they can be real happy with that 72 points. And the rest of Team Canada.
Great team effort from all around for Canada. That was awesome to watch. So proud of the team.
Well, and let's be clear, even for us here, and for most viewers, these are unusual pairings that we're seeing, you know, for a diving event. So to see that in short time, those divers managed to produce something very good.
It shows how good and how adaptable all of the athletes here are.
Team Japan, their last dive will be an inward 3.5 somersault tuck. Oh, wow. I really enjoyed the synchronization on this. Look at this. Rotation happening at the same time.
The entry of
Shuda Yamada, yeah, on the right there, completely disappeared. So a little tiny bit of a splash there for Karen Yamasaki, but she's happy.
Another, like I said, overall, it just shows how diverse these athletes are, how adaptable they are, and it's amazing to see them come together in such short notice to do these team events.
And then, you know, we said it before, earlier in this broadcast, this could become a real Olympic event one day maybe, or a world championship event and a serious event. So yeah, they're going to start spending more time on this. All right, the team that's been leading this after a few rounds, Team Australia, also doing an inward 3.5 somersault tuck. Okay, wow, okay, so this is the first mistake they've essentially made, at least on the tower.
It was good.
Oh, yeah.
It was good.
2 good dives. You can see Millie just a little bit short here on the right. That creates a bigger splash. Team Canada waiting to see the outcome.
Knowing it was going to be close.
So, with this 410.5 here, 410.5 being the final score for them, that will put them in first place. Good performance from Team Australia today.
Solid from top to bottom, really. Not a lot I could ask for more, actually.
Team USA now, one more dive to go in this final. Back 2.5 somersault with 1.5 twist, pike position. Sophie McAfee and Andrew Bennett. Oh, wow. At the start, I wasn't sure how that synchronization was going to go, but then they caught up to each other, and it ended up just great all the way towards the end. We see right here, not taking off quite at the same time, but everything else happening synchronized.
Beautiful synchro. Yeah, halfway through the dive, they synced up nicely.
Team USA, all smiles. They're happy with that one. So we'll have the final results for you coming up. I think they also have to get used to this event, you know? So final standings after the mixed team event here at the Canada Cup of Diving Australia. In first, Canada gets the silver medal, and Team Korea in third. So Rylan, it's just the kickoff of all the competitions and all the finals coming up over the weekend. It was a real pleasure to have you on the mic, my friend.
It was a pleasure being here. I enjoyed every minute of it.
All right, now get back to work, because you got to compete this weekend.
Absolutely.
You
Thank you,
got
Alex.
a lot to do. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.
Great to see our happy and smiling athletes. Coming up shortly will be a rollout, a highlight package presented to you by our production team.
maintenant accueillir les médaillés et les présentateurs pour l'épreuve d'équipe.
Please welcome the medalists and presenters for the Mixed Team Championship event.
Les médaillés, les médailles et les prix sont présentés par
The medals and gifts will be presented by
membres du comité technique World Aquatics,
member of the World Aquatics Technical Diving Committee, Eric Brooker.
membre du conseil d'administration Plongeon Canada,
Board member of Diving Plongeon Canada, Jill Brewer.
membre du conseil d'administration Plongeon Canada,
Board member of Diving Plongeon Canada, Scott Sinclair.
en troisième place, gagnant de la médaille de bronze, représentant la République Corée,
Your winners of the bronze medal, represented by Republic of Korea, Kim Na-yoon, Woo Si-hong, Kwon Halim, and Kang Min-yuk.
en deuxième place, gagnant de la médaille d'argent, représentant le Canada,
Winners of the silver medal, Canada, represented by Eloise Belanger, Carson Paul, Nathan Zomber-Murray, and Margot Erlam.
gagnant de la médaille d'or et vos champions de la Coupe Canada 2025, représentant l'Australie,
Your winners of the gold medal in your 2025 Canada Cup champions from Australia, Jonah Mercika, Natalie Fan, Millie Buggeridge, and Hudson Skinner.
Veuillez maintenant vous joindre à nous pour la présentation de l'hymne national de l'Australie.
Please join us for the national anthem of Australia.
Veuillez applaudir nos médaillés de la Coupe Canada 2025.
Please make some noise for your Canada Cup medalists. Show us your medals, athletes. Hold up your medals. Thank you, merci Gatineau. This does wrap up day 2 of our competitions. Thank you all of our volunteers from the local clubs and Plongeon Quebec.